Hi guys, this is Baha. In this video tutorial we will learn about the data visualization using R. So let's see the outline of this tutorial. We will see how the plot function we use to visualize the data in R, the Qplot function or Gplot. So first, the plot function is the default for R, and Qplot and Gplot are actually the functions come from external package, so we need to install the package for Gplot2 and then use this function. So we will see all of this, and within the Gplot, using the Gplot, we will visualize, we will see how we can do the point, line, area, bar chart for the data. Okay, now let's see one by one. First, the basic one, the plot, which is the function of inbuilt function of R. So the parameters of this plot are x and y. So that is the data we want to plot, x-axis and y-axis. Then what type of plot, what type of plot we want. So p means type equals to p means the points, L lines, be it both, and H histogram, and S is stair steps. And main is actually the chart title, X lab label of the x-axis, and Y lab is the label of y-axis. So here I use a plot to plot the content of this packets1.csv to see how the data, or to see the trend of the data. So let's see how it works. So let's see in the R studio. So to do this, so first I need to set working directory, get working, see it works. Okay, so now I want to create a frame, data frame n, using, I have a packet of CSV we discussed, and we see how we read and write the data. We read the data from a file, or we can write data to a file in my previous video. So here we are actually doing the same thing. We are reading data from a CSV file. The name of the packet file is packets1.csv. We are skipping the first line and using the header as a variable. So we create a data frame n. So it's showing here, we create a data frame n. Now we want to use this data frame to plot the data. That means these data, for example, after simulation, or you collect the data from to your research for you. So let's see how it works. Okay, so the plot, so first one is, we say x and y. So x is time, so n $sign time. So time is a variable within the n data frame. So time is a variable within the n data time, or if we say the structure of n, you will see that. So time is a variable within the frame, n data frame. So x-axis is time, you can see the plot is here. So x-axis is time, and y-axis is the scenario one. So I have a packet. The packet has I have a file, CSV file, and within the CSV file I have some data, and three types of scenario I have. So I have three column, three types of scenario, and one is time and one is number of run. So I have 10 run. So 10 run gives 10 levels. So, or you can see the packets. So I have a packets1.csv. So this is the file, Excel file or CSV file I am reading, and then based on that I am plotting. So I say read the plot time. So x axis, y axis, main equals to chart title. So I set the chart title, so it gives the chart title. Type equals to p means the point, as we said, and the column color equals to, I said, n dot run. So I have different run, so I actually want to different color for different run, so that's why I said color equals to n run. And x label is time, label of x-axis time, and label of y-axis is number of packets. So I create a scatter diagram or the point diagram, plot the points. So for the scenario 1 and function of time. And after, so you can export this. So you can do the PDF. For example, you can do the PDF. So it's create a PDF and save it. Or you can say export it as an image, save as image. So you can change the width and height and then save, or if you want to keep the same width and height, so save width and height and save it. So it will give you option to save, just make a copy. Okay, so I did that, I saved that, and I put the save. So here, so if you see here, so the chart title is the chart title, and type it's a p. So we said the p means the points, and then color and run. So my packet has different runs, so for different run the color are different, and then x and y lab. So by using plot function we can do the visualize our data. Okay, so next I will see how Qplot works. To work with the Qplot, we need to install the Gplot 2 and use as a library. So we use that as a library. So here I use the Qplot and I show the trend of my data, and in this plot like x and y, so this is x, so this is time, and y is number of packets of scenario 1, and data is n, that means the frame I created. And geom, the very useful thing. So if we say that geom equals to smooth, so it will give you, it automatically calculate the 95% confidence interval, and showing here as a gray on top of the blue line. So blue line is our trend, and then beside the gray is the 95% interval confidence, 95% confidence interval. So we say the main equals chart title, x label, and number of packets. Okay, so let's go to the R studio. So I said to do that we need to first install. So install packages, and within this you write like the Gplot 2. So I already did that, so you don't need to do anything, just install .package and Gplot 2, enter. It will automatically install for you everything. And after installation you need to use library Gplot 2. So now I want to plot this. So it's creating when I run this code, so it will create this graph. So this create, so based on the data, so out of 3 scenario I take the 1 scenario. So how the data is goes, so here data is n, so this n is actually this n, and time and scenario 1, time and scenario 1, and based on that it says plot the trend of the data, and main title x lab time and y label number of packets. So we can use the Qplot, and so Qplot gives us a very good feature, so we can use this one also. Okay, let's see next function. So Gplot. So by using the Gplot we can do line, bar, or area, so anything. So here is an example of how can we draw the line for 3 different scenarios. So here we said the Gplot n, so n is my frame, so geom is smooth, so I want to see the confidence interval. So AS static time and scenario 1, so time and scenario 1. Then I say SE true, so SE true means I want to see the confidence interval, so I make it true. Then color red, dark red, size 1, so that means the width of the line, and span 0.1, so this means how the line will be curvy. So if it's bigger, that means more close to 1, so it will be more smooth, and more close to 0, it will be more curvy. So same thing for all the 3. Geom is smooth for and type scenario 2, and for scenario 3. And here I say like the theme background is null, so it becomes white. So if you see the previous one, this is not, this is gray background, so here is white. So I make it white, and then I say x label equals to millisecond, works the number of control packets, and theme is I want to see these are the bold, size 36. Then text of these are the size 24 and the so the text and these values. So now let's see how it works in the RStudio. So RStudio is drawing this thing, so we put the code here in RStudio. So Gplot, geom smooth, so the time and scenario 1, scenario 1, scenario 2, scenario 3. So for all the 3 scenario, you can see here, so it's showing here, and then you can export it as a PDF, or you can export it as a image, so using the image, and you can save it. Okay, so go to the next slide. So here I try actually to do this differently, and to present the area, how we can plot the area. So okay, let's see. We read I'm just copy paste because to make it faster, otherwise it take more time. So here I read another file and give the name of this as a t. So I read table, so packet slash 1.txt. so I have a txt file. I read that txt file and I will use that for plot. Okay, so one very interesting thing in Gplot is we can, like here, for example, so here I create an object p. So I create an object p, and these object actually a line of code. And what's this line of code? This line of code actually all the themes how I want, so that I can use, I don't need to write this every time. I can use this p for the next. So I said theme equals to face bold, size 36, then title, and this the text. So then I said the legend, where it be the horizontal or vertical or top or bottom, and then the size and elements, so blank. So I create a variable for my code, and I will reuse this p, so different codes, so I don't need to write this again and again. Okay, so now so here I use this p. So I created this p and use this p, so that I don't need to use this again and again. Okay, so because I copy paste, so if I can move, I can just remove this gap. So here, so it creates a graph or plot the data using the geom area. So this area, geom area, is actually drawing or plotting the whole area. So I have three types of scenario, and three types of scenario overlapping each other. So I said, so my Gplot, the frame is t, and geom area, AES is time and scenario 1, geom area scenario 2, and geom area scenario 3. So I want to draw the area of all the three. Okay, and I want to fill the color. One is dark red area, one is dark blue, and another one is green 2. So you can see the different kinds of color you can use, or even you can use the code of this color. And parallelly I also use the line, so that I can make changes. So for geom area scenario 1, for the border I put the line. So I said the scenario 1 line color is scenario 1 for the same color, and size is 2. That means how width or how thick of this, and then say same thing for the scenario 2, thick is 2. And one important thing here is alpha. So alpha is basically how much transparent. So I said here 2, alpha equals to 2. So you can make it 1 to 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, right? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 1. So nothing transparent. So this alpha is basically say the transparent of each region. And finally I use the p, and here you can see that the labels scenario 1, scenario 2, scenario 3. So here I use my legend top, and the legend direction is horizontal, and its position is top p. So I using this p. So I said the position is top, so it goes to the top, and the horizontal is horizontal, and the size of the legend text 34. And other things here, the scale color manual, I manually define the color. So I say the dark red, dark blue, and green 2. So, or if you can avoid this, so the R automatically use 3 different colors. So you can do the area, you can plot the area based on your data. So how you want to present your data, so based on, you can use the different code. Okay, so let's see the next slide. So this is what actually we now draw. So the same thing, I save it and put it here to show you. And next one is ggplot bar. So I read another file, so packets.com, so computer.csv, and based on this file I draw the bar diagram or bar chart. So I use here geom bar instead of geom area, so I use it. So here I say that data equals to z or z, so because I create the frame, new frame here, and number of computer and number of packets. So these are the number of computers and this is the number of packets. So then field equals to number of scenarios. So I have 3 types of scenarios, so I want 3 different colors for 3 types of scenario. And geom bar, and then color is black. Black means actually the border of the bar, and here I use the manual color, so I use the code. If same thing, if I don't use that, so it automatically use 3 different colors. And width of the bar, and x lab and y lab. So let's see how the ggplot for bar diagram works in RStudio. Sorry, so before that I need to read my file. So I create another frame, data frame z or z, and the content of z are all of this. So you can see it here. So scenarios, so 3 different scenarios, 3, and number of packets and number of computers. Okay, so based on this, so these are the variables. Okay, so let's see this code, how this code works in here. So I just copy paste the code I have already. So I said the data is z, that means my frame, and AES asterisk x number of computers and number of packets. So number of packets and number of scenarios. Okay, so and then field based on the number of scenarios and number of computers. One is number of computers, x-axis, and y-axis is number of packets. So here if you say number of computers, x, and y is number of packets, and the field color will be based on number of scenario, 3 different scenario, 3 different color, and geom bar, and then the color will be, I said okay, the color will be these 3 colors I want, and number of x level, y level, and p is we created before. So it is the same thing again. After you can export this, save this, so it's create very nice plot. So you can change it anytime based on your what you want. So or you can export it as a image, whatever you want. So let's back to the slide. So these things actually these are the all in this video. So in this video we will see how actually we use the plot, which is the default plotting function in R. So we did that by using R. We see that in also R, and then we see how we use the Qplot. The very important thing here is the confidence interval automatically calculate. Then we see how we can create the area. We can plot the area based on our data, and the bar chart. So I hope it will very helpful for you, and I will in my next video I will discuss about how we extract or data mining, and then more plotting and some and also the control structure. So hopefully this video will help you, and I hope you will see my next video also. Thank you very much.